So welcome to the first day, day one of the 22 Minutes of Bliss 10-day experience. I'm going to do something that I've actually never done before, just to go live on two devices at the same time. So I'm live here with you in the Ecstatic Awakening Conscious Creators Facebook group, and I'm also going to go live on my timeline on my phone. And so just give me a moment and I will do that, and then we will drop in together. So just 1 second. This is like the most ninja thing I've ever done, so it's pretty cool. Okay, so we're starting the live video. Okay, beautiful. So just giving a couple of moments for people to drop in, and wherever you are in the world, taking a moment now to come into presence and to drop into whatever entry point into the present moment you have right now. If you want to feel your mortality or your immortality, then do that. Taking a moment and recognizing the miracle of being alive on a planet at this moment, that somehow you won the race, you were the sperm that met the egg, and that was the cosmic explosion that resulted in you being here right now in this moment. So just want to say, for those of you guys who are watching from my timeline, I'm live streaming this right now primarily inside the Ecstatic Awakening Conscious Creators tribe, and so you can find the link in the description if you want to go and join right there, although I won't be able to approve you until after the call, so I guess just tune in now and then come and join us there afterwards, because we'll be doing a lot of these in the coming 10 days as a part of the 22 minutes of bliss 10-day experience. So tuning into the miracle of you existing to begin with, and being right now here on this planet, that right now underneath you there is this massive, humongous, intelligent body of energy, this vibrant life force planet that is continuously giving life to billions of people, animals, plants, volcanoes. Right now I'm sitting here on an island in Indonesia. Specifically, I'm right now in Canggu at the southern, more towards the south of Bali, and right out here you can see it right now. The sun just set. We had an amazing sunset across the rice fields, but incredible ocean. And just about an hour ago, or a bit more, maybe 2 hours ago now, I was standing in the ocean overlooking the magnitude and the magnificence of the rolling waves, and I was there with this question about what am I going to share here on day one with you, and the entire thing just downloaded in that one beautiful moment. And so what I want to talk about today is, so first of all, let me just give you the impetus for the inspiration for this, and that is that the other day I was listening to, hold on, let me just close this. The other day I was listening to a talk by Brendan Bouchard, just checking that we're still live on both platforms. Yes, we are. Sweet. Okay, cool. This is so exciting. Beautiful. So the other day I was listening to a talk by Brendan Bouchard, and he is an amazing, inspiring human being. He does a lot of training, performance and high performance, and works a lot with creatives as well as really massive outreach, big successful people. And he was talking about the importance of finding the questions that you will be asking at the end of your life, and then living in accordance to them or with them in your awareness. And so, in other words, finding out for yourself when you were laying on your deathbed, so to speak, when you were laying there on the last day of your life, which might be a decade from now, it might be a year from now, it might be 300 years from now, depending on how much life extension and life hacks we are able to develop. You know, I was listening to this talk by Jason Silva, and he said, I'm banking on the possibility of quadrupling my lifespan within my lifespan. And so I'm definitely with him there. So say a few hundred years from now, you're laying on your deathbed, which questions are you going to ask yourself such that you know if you lived life to the fullest? And the three questions that he asks are these. Did I live? Did I love? And did I matter? Did I live fully? Did I share love and intimacy? Did I make a contribution to the world? In other words, this also ties into one of my favorite inspirational speakers who actually passed not too long ago, Wayne Dyer. He was often talking about do not die with your music still inside you. If there are these things that you want to create in your life, are you actually bringing them into the world such that it's not just an idea within yourself and within your consciousness, but you're actually bringing it out into the world in a way that is tangible, that people can actually receive in whatever medium that is, whether that is through videos or through art or through writing or through music or through touch or through any kind of creativity that is like building something or creating something that's actually out there in the world, such that you are touching lives and leaving a legacy. And so these questions, did I live, did I love, and did I matter? For today's talk, I want to focus on the third one of them, because something that I talk about a lot is this did I live, which is basically coming down to this question of like, it's so amazing to be alive and to be on this planet, and so let's live every single day like it matters. And if you want to do something, you want to travel somewhere, you want to speak to somebody, you want to create something, then go for that, so that you do not come to the end of your life and go, oh fucking shit, I didn't do it, I blew the chance. And yes, reincarnation stuff and unlimited extra chances, but still, this is it right now. And so I speak a lot about did I live. Today I want to focus on did I matter. Today I want to focus on did I matter. So if you identify as a conscious creator, first of all, I would love to hear from you guys who are live right now, both in the Ecstatic Awakening Conscious Creators group. Hey Gila, beautiful. Hey Odette. Hey, lots of people coming on. I'm not really following exactly who is here, but those of you who are in the Ecstatic Awakening Conscious Creators group, and also those of you who are watching on my timeline, just let me know in the chat, do you identify as a conscious creator? As in, do you feel that you are in this flow of creating your own reality and conscious life design, as opposed to just kind of waking up in the morning and just watching TV or doing whatever the fuck seems like the easiest thing to do or the least uncomfortable thing to do? Do you feel, in other words, the question, do you identify yourself as a conscious creator? If you do, then let me know yes in the chat. And also, if you want to write, you can also write, what are you bringing to the world? What is your calling? What is your gift? And so let me know in the chat if you identify as a conscious creator. Okay, cool. Yeah, getting some yeses in some different places. Okay, beautiful. I mean, that's kind of what I would expect from the kind of people that I surround myself with. Okay, sweet. So with that, moving on. So basically, if you identify, for me it comes down these three things that downloaded really clearly for me. If you're clear that you are a conscious creator and that you have something to give in this lifetime, if you're clear about that, and number two, you notice that that gift comes to you the most effortlessly and is best given when you are in flow state. And flow state is defined as when you are feeling at your best and you are performing at your best. I wrote an email to my email list, I think yesterday, when I was talking about flow state as being the state where things just come to you. There's no trying, there's no efforting, it's just words come, you say the right things, you're at the right time, you're in flow, there's very little thought, your mind is quiet, and there's just this effortlessness of beingness and inspiration, ideas, creativity. It just happens when you are in that state. And so that is what I mean by flow state. So if you're clear, number one, that you have something to give in this lifetime, number two, that gift comes to you the most effortlessly and is the most easily and in the most powerful, potent way given when you are in flow state. Then three, the question then becomes, how do you best get into flow state? How can you enter into that space daily, if possible. So I'm not necessarily looking for a specific answer to this. It's more for you to be with the question. How do you enter into flow state? What is your entry point into that? What is your avenue into genius? What is your slipstream into inspiration? So just being with that question for yourself. And if you want to write something in the chat and let me know, then feel free to do that as well. And as you're doing that, I want you to be with this question as well. That is, how do you imagine that your life, your gifts, your sharing of that abundance, of your love and of your wisdom would accelerate were you to bring this on, not just like as an idea that you try once, like, yay, I got into flow state, that was amazing, and then you live your life not in that way, but as a way of life, where you really take this on to prioritize getting into flow. And so there are some perks, you could say. I'm just checking the chat. There's some perks that kind of comes with this, that when you are in flow state. So imagine this. Imagine that every time you want to create something, ideas just come to you. And I'm talking about ideas that aren't just new and amazing to those that you share them with, but they actually blow you away as well, where you're like, where the fuck did that come from? Who just said that? Where is this coming from? You know, I'm having this experience right now where there's a certain idea of what I want to bring out. And at the same time, there's this experience of being out of the way. There's no thought going into anything that is happening right now. It's just being in this state of flow. And so imagine every time that you sit down to write, the words just flow. Imagine that every time you want to make a video like I'm doing right now and you hit record, it's just like you're channeling, you're just in that space. Imagine that every time you want to create music, the words, the rhythms, and the rhymes and the melodies that just come to you, or imagining that you're maybe wanting to create an online course and the entire thing just downloads to you while you are, for example, showering or swimming in the ocean or running or doing the 22 minutes of bliss practice. So right now, for those of you who are watching from my timeline, if you're watching in the Ecstatic Awakening Conscious Creators, you're probably already in the 22 minutes of bliss practice. But for those of you who may not be, just very briefly, the 22 minutes of bliss, which is not the only way to get into flow. I would never claim that. You can get into flow in so many different ways, but the 22 minutes of bliss is a practice that is specifically designed to get you into flow state. It moves through a wave of opening and activating energy through bioenergetic shaking, where you release and free up through vibration your body, life energy, so that if you feel resistant, then you can move through that, not by trying to push through the resistance, but by actually utilizing the resistance as fuel for creativity, because resistance is simply a lot of energy that is being held in place. So when you move in there and you free that up, then there's a lot of energy that begins to flow for you. And then from there it goes into breath work, where you begin to open and surrender into spirit, into inspiration through the respiration, and you begin to open in that kind of way. And then from that space you begin to move that energy through movement and through dance, and from that space we move into complete silence, stillness, quietude, and witnessing, awareness, meditation, which is entering into the space before the mind, which is where these words can flow or not, because it's very silent there. But there is a quality to this, that when you are expanded further than your limited self, asserted self, your limited self, then these things just happen by themselves. And what I feel and what I believe is that this is how you are meant to live. We're not meant to be these human beings who are just cut off from our inspiration and trying to figure things out the hard way, but we are meant to live in a way where we are tapped into source, and these things just come through us. And if you're watching somebody who's doing this, there might be somebody that you're inspired by. Maybe you're experiencing this right now, but some common ones that you might know of would be like Abraham Hicks or Bentinho Massaro or Jason Silva, or there are so many people who are doing these kind of things. So you might look at them and you're like, wow, how could they do that? They might be special, they might be elevated, they might be gifted. And granted, sometimes there is a natural gift that somebody has, like my love Gabriel, you know, he's a poet and a rapper and a hip-hop artist at heart, and it just comes through him, you know, when he's on stage and he's freestyling rap. I'm like, I don't know how you do that. Like, how can your mouth and brain and everything move so fast in synchronization with the rhythms, and it comes out, you know, improvised in rhyme? And I have no idea how that works. So he definitely has a gift there that he's also cultivated over time. But the thing is that all of us can do something to get into flow state in the way that it is relevant for us. And so this is the invitation, this is my passion, because the thing is that not everybody's going to be a hip-hop, rap, spoken word artist. Not everybody's going to make videos. Not everyone is going to write books. Not everyone is going to create music or direct movies or create art. But whatever that is for you that you want to create, again, if you recognize that there's something that you want to create in this lifetime, and you notice that it comes the easiest, that the avenue into actually giving that with the least effort and the most flow, it's by being in flow. Then question is, how do you get into flow? And so, as a mini invitation, again, if this is something that turns you on, then just, let's see, in the Ecstatic Awakening Conscious Creators group, you're again already probably in. For the timeline watchers, you can find the link to the 22 minutes of bliss in the description for this video. So you can do that one. It's fucking genius. It started today. And you can also find so many other ways of getting into flow as well. And so this is what I want to speak about, how to really get into flow. And so what I've experienced for the last number of years, more and more so, increasingly so, as I trust the flow of this, is that pretty much everything that I create, whether it's a retreat or an online course or a video like this one, none of it happens with thought involved. It all just comes to me when I'm in that state of receptivity. And so this brings us to the concept of trying to figure things out versus receiving downloads. Just feel that for a moment. You know, like Neo in the Matrix, when he's upgrading into a new skill, there's no trying to figure anything out, he just gets the download. And of course it's a bit of a different story because we're not inside that computer simulation that he is, but it's not that different. This is like something, the difference between, like Morpheus says, don't think you can, know you can. Because, for example, with this video, if I had any doubt that this was possible, I probably wouldn't even hit record, and then none of this would be coming through. But there, trust, just know you can. So trying to figure things out versus receiving downloads. And that also brings me to another concept, which is being prepared, or trying to prepare for something, which is mind-related and trying to manage something, versus being ready and being available, which is a quality of openness. And again, so right now, this is the meta understanding of what is happening right now. I'm in a state of openness and availability for what wants to come through. There's no preparation needed for this. And earlier today, I was standing in the ocean just a couple of hours before sunset when the sun was still really strong. And I was actually going into the ocean because I needed to recharge, because last night, actually this morning, I slept just a bit more than an hour. So last night I slept just over 60 minutes, something like that, between like going to bed and waking up again. I actually went to bed only at like 10:30 in the morning, and this is not usual for me, but there's been a lot of preparations for 22 minutes of bliss. So I was putting the finishing touches this morning. And then slept for an hour, and then we checked out. We're in Chengdu right now, not in Ubud where we live. And so I just had an hour to sleep. And so I went into the ocean to recharge. And as I was standing in the ocean, I was breathing with the ocean. And the waves were crashing into me. I was kind of sitting, just letting them crash into me. Sometimes standing up and just feeling that, and playing in this kind of jacuzzi that was created when the waves were, you know, bubbling all around me. So the waves were crashing. The wind was blowing really strongly. There was a sunlight that was splitting everything into diamond-like prisms of liquid luminosity. There was just this incredible beauty all around me. And I wasn't trying to come up with any ideas for anything. It was just a matter of, I went there because it called me. You know, I went there because it feels like the ocean will recharge me, which it definitely has. You know, I'm not tired anymore, even though I still haven't slept more than that 1 hour last night. Not promoting non-sleep, by the way, it kind of sucks, but I'm just saying that it was so incredibly healing and recharging to stand in the ocean. And when I was standing in the ocean or sitting in the ocean, I started hearing this voice of everything that I wanted to share with you today, which is what is happening in this moment, which is like pretty exciting and exhilarating. It's like this natural high that comes when there is a desire to share, or there is an impulse to share something, and it is actually happening. Right now, this is being doubly immortalized through the timeline, filming, and the Ecstatic Awakening Conscious Creators group. But basically, my point here is that I didn't prepare for this. You know, there's no effort-filled preparation needed for this. If anything, it was this simplicity and openness of just being with the question, because my curiosity that has just been with me today as we're going into this 22 minutes of bliss 10-day experience is the curiosity that I've been feeling today is, I wonder what will be shared today. I wonder what new thing will be discovered. Like I said earlier, that when you are in that state, the things that come through you and to you are not just things that amaze people when you share them, but you're like blown away. You're like, I've never thought that thing before. I don't know where this is coming from, but it's coming through. That is being connected to source. That is being connected to spirit, and everybody has that connection. And so I was simply being with that curiosity. And also desire, which is the desire to share something meaningful, because I care about all of you who are in this 10-day experience and in this lifetime. You know, I deserve that. And so Jason Silva, like I mentioned earlier, who is this amazing thought leader, speaker, filmmaker, I've heard him being described as this jazz philosopher, because when he speaks, he's very much like a jazz musician improvising music. He calls it being in the pocket, which is like being in flow state. And that is also that he also pretty much never knows beforehand what he's going to say. It's like being available, hitting record on the camera, and then capturing whatever comes, which is unique and is going to be just that flow in the moment. And we can all cultivate this more and more when we trust this flow more and more. And he speaks about the importance of spaces. And he speaks about majestic places like nature, which is where when you go outside in nature, you literally go out of your mind and into the magic. And this is why at the Ecstatic Awakening Retreat, you are being a certain person with a certain life trajectory and a present moment situation, and what I could call like a certain imagined blueprint for what you envision possible for yourself and where you're going and what you want to create and how you see that actually come to life. And then when you leave, you have been really upgraded in pretty much every area of your life. And so for some people who attend the Ecstatic Awakening Retreat, it's like super dramatic. You know, we've had a lot of people quit their job, you know, quitting your job, going for your dreams, making more money, or meeting your soulmates. We have like a number of relationships that have started in the retreat and business collaborations. And pretty much everybody report a very clear before and after the retreat. And for others, it's more a case of feeling more in tune with possibilities, creativity, empowerment, awareness, feeling supported by life, and having a hell of a lot more fun while creating whatever it is that you want to create, which we could call like your dream life, for lack of a better word. And at the same time, less attached to the outcome, because you feel yourself as bigger than all of this, that in spite of the spacesuit that is showing up and whatever this vocal cords that are emanating this voice that is coming to you, there's something that is bigger than that. And so there's this beautiful detachment from outcome, more and more so. And so what is that? What is the mechanics of that? So a part of this is, of course, the genius of the practices and the multi-layered design of the journey. So we have a multitude of facilitators in here. So it's myself and Jonathan Fitzler, who is the founder of Sacred Strategy Lab, and Jason Diggs and Val Castano from Authentic Relating Training International. We have Lisa Renee from Momentum Collective, and all of these musicians coming in. So there's something to it. However, when I was tuning into this today and just asking these questions and being with this curiosity about what is it that creates that, what I feel is that beyond the practices and beyond the facilitation, a massive part of this is that we spend 8 days together in pretty much continuous flow state, or the quota or ratio of inspiration is amped up by 100. And so the way I want to explain this is that it's comparable for most people. How we sleep is that it's only around 20 minutes per 90-minute sleep cycle that is actually spent in the deep restorative state of delta brainwaves. And the frequency of delta brainwaves, I'm forgetting right now, it's like a very low hertz frequency that is actually the deep restorative sleeps. And so if you sleep for 7.5 hours, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sleep cycles. That is only 5 times 20 minutes in 7.5 hours of sleep. So in other words, that's 100 minutes. That's an hour and 40 minutes of deep sleep within the span of 7.5 hours of sleep. And so theoretically, if we could extend the time that we have in the delta state when we sleep, then we could theoretically get as much rest or more in less than 2 hours than we normally get in an entire night of regular sleep. And does this make sense to you? I hope I'm not losing you. If you are smart, then you can probably follow this. So basically, that works with sleep, and it's a very similar thing with flow state. Because when you are in flow, you'll get more done in 5 minutes of flow than in 5 hours of trying to figure something out. And so you begin to bend time, where things begin to come way, way quicker. It doesn't take time to write things down. You know, when I'm in the state and I'm writing an email, or I'm writing a Facebook post, or I'm writing something that I want to put into a video, is it making sense to you guys? It's coming through, but I can barely. Thank God that I've been typing for a long time, because it's like, you know, sometimes when I get things and I just have my iPhone, it's like my thumbs can't move fast enough to take down the notes of what is coming through. And this is basically the magic of the Ecstatic Awakening Retreat. And the mechanics of this is that there are a few different components. One that I can see is that the people who come are so ready. That's more than anywhere in the world. You know, I've been for the last 15 years in so many spaces where people are in this space of connecting, and yoga and tantra and meditation and entrepreneurship, but this is where everything comes together. So honestly more than anywhere, I find that people who come are so ready. And so if nothing else, it's kind of like you get swooped up by this vibe simply by the virtue of vibrational entrainment. Do you guys know about the concept of entrainment? I'm getting a whole bunch of like yeses and thumbs ups and stuff. So just let me know if I've lost all of you, or if you're on board. Are you resonating with this so far? Can you just let me know in the chat how this is resonating so far? I know we're going on quite a wild ride here, but it feels like when I'm tuning into you energetically, it feels like you're with me. So just if you want to confirm that in the chat, you can do that. And we're going to go for a little bit more of a ride here. But basically, the concept of, or the phenomenon rather, of entrainment, the simplistic way of describing it is that if you have a lower or slower frequency or vibration in the presence of a higher or faster frequency for long enough, and they are in close enough proximity to one another, not that they are like super far apart vibrationally in terms of how fast they vibrate, but if they're close enough, the lower or slower frequency will always entrain, in other words, match the higher or faster frequency. And this is what happens when you are in a retreat like this. That when you come into this place and you spend, it's like a bubble where you spend 8 days together in this frequency of possibilities, of awakening, of celebration, of allowing everything to just be as it is, and then creating from that space, then your physiology, your brain chemistry, everything gets permanently altered, more or less. Because this is the cool thing, is that with a lot of retreats, what I experience is that what people experience is that you come into the retreat, you have a peak experience, and you go home and you crash. What we see in the ecstatic awakening retreat is that you go in, you raise your vibration and you open, and then you keep on going higher from there. I want to interview some people about like life after ecstatic awakening, because it's so amazing to hear the kind of things that people then go on to create after having had that experience. So that is a process of entrainment. And so to bring it back home it comes down to these questions. Did I love? Did I live? And did I matter? And if you have other questions that you want to add to that, then do that. Then you can scrap these questions if they don't resonate for you. But find out what questions will you ask by the end of your life, such that you know if you lived your life to the fullest or not. And ideally live your life in such a way that every day you can answer yes to those questions. Like right now, being here on this island in Indonesia in the middle of the ocean, did I live? Definitely. I've been spending the last 15 years going deep into this kind of work after, I'm not going to go into that story, but after 5 years of suicide attempts, going into that space of, well, this is it, let's go for it fully. And now spending the last 7 years traveling the world and teaching and sharing, not teaching, I don't really resonate with that word, but sharing, reminding, creating spaces where people can meet and upgrade into this place. And having got through that journey, going from being in suicidal depression for many years into being in this state where the full spectrum of emotions still happen, but there is an underlying sense of connectedness and freedom and love and like being carried by life and in this trust and flow. Did I live? Absolutely. Did I love? Absolutely. Being in the most beautiful love relationship I could ever imagine. And something that I want to cultivate more is the deeper connection with friendships, which is something that when I'm so immersed in traveling and guiding retreats and courses and giving sessions, that is something that I can feel some sadness, that it sometimes feels like I don't have time to really cultivate the deep friendships. And just for myself, as I'm saying this right now, I'm just feeling, that's the one thing that I want to bring in more of, in that balance of cultivating deep friendships and staying in touch with my family. And then did I matter? Meaning, are you actually bringing your music, or are you living in such a way that if you were to die tomorrow, you would die incomplete, you would die with your music still inside you? And if that is the case, then find out, what is your calling in this lifetime? What is it that you're here to give? And what is the space that allows for that gift to be given the most? What is the flow state? What is the access point for you that allows that to come through? So there are different ways that you can enter into this really effortlessly and easily. The 22 minutes of bliss, like I mentioned a few times, try it out. Again, the thing is that when it comes to these things, the number one thing you can do is to follow your resonance. And so if you resonate with this vibe, then come check out 22 minutes of bliss. It's a 22-minute practice you can take with you into the rest of your life. You're getting the verbal guidance of this human's voice, as well as amazing music that I'll see if I'll be able to even mix new music every single day for this, so that you have new soundscapes to cruise together with this experience. Just close this. And also, like Jason Silva was talking about, nature spaces, being in majestic spaces, like today when I was in the ocean and these things just started coming to me. And I trust this because I have no desire to pre-plan something when it isn't ready yet. But it's about being in that availability. And what is it for you? Maybe being on the dance floor, like here in Bali, we have extended dance several times that I quite frequently go to as well, and I pretty much every single time experience when I'm in the space of dancing that things just start downloading. And so the concepts that I've been sharing today is if you are identifying as a conscious creator and you know that you have something to give in this lifetime, then 2, and you recognize that flow state is the place where that is most effortlessly flowing through, then question 3 becomes, how do you get into flow state? And then the concept of trying to figure something out versus receiving downloads, and trying to prepare and manage things with your mind versus being ready, being open, being connected. How can you cultivate that connection? And again, coming back to this is how we are meant to live. So let me know in the chat how this resonates. Again, maybe we can even bring some people on camera. There's been a lot of yeses and a lot of resonance. And so what I would love to hear from you right now, and this is as much for me to just get a feedback loop, because if we were in the ecstatic awakening retreat, we're together in one circle and we're there with another, or in another live event, and we would be together in a circle and we could speak with each other. But right now we're connecting across, the planet through these devices that we have through technology. And so given that I cannot see you and have not fully mastered telepathy, just let me know what has been the biggest insight for you in this talk today, in this live stream, in this connection experience today. And it could be through something that I said. It could also be something that's seemingly maybe unrelated, but just through being in the space. Again, frequency, entrainment. When you are in the presence of somebody who flow, you tend to get into flow. And so it might be something that you realize through what I've shared. It can also be something that is simply an inspiration or an idea. Maybe there's something that you want to create in your life that you've been stuck on, and suddenly in this moment, or maybe after I have hung up on this call, or maybe tomorrow, maybe later today, when you're doing the 22 minutes of bliss, or when you're making love, or when you're dancing, or when you're in the shower, or when you're receiving massage, it might just come to you. So what has been the biggest insight for you? What is the biggest takeaway, or what did you find the most inspiring about what has been shared today in this talk and in this call? God, it's like a fucking natural high, Oh, one more thing that I want to share as you're sharing this, share what has been the biggest insight. So I can see a lot of people are watching. And so I want to challenge you or invite you playfully into, if you are watching this and you're hearing these words, whether you're watching it live right now as it's happening, or you're watching it, after, in the future now. Because this is one of the things that's going to change your life trajectory. Do you just consume inspiration and let it kind of wash through, and then you feel a bit better, and then you go on and it's almost like nothing ever happened? Or can you distill the gift of what has been given? So if you're still watching now, which is after, I don't even know how long I've been going for right now. I don't think I can see it right now, but you're still watching right now. We've been going for quite a while, and so surely you have received something. Otherwise, you're stupid or wasting your time. If this doesn't resonate for you, you shouldn't be watching it. But if you still are, then I can imagine and assume that you're receiving something from this. And so to distill that gift for yourself, because it's really useful and beautiful also for me to find out what has been the biggest insight or inspiration that you've received through this sharing that has come through today. And so share that in the chat if there's a key that you can distill. And what do you feel inspired to do with this would be the second question. You can answer both, or just whichever one feels the most relevant for you. Again, it's as much about you getting clear about this as it is for me to find out what is something that you've been inspired to do. Is it to, after we hang up on this, try a 22 minutes of bliss practice? Or is it to go out into nature today or tomorrow? Is it to take some moment in quiet meditation? Is it to tonight, instead of having electrical lights turned on in your house or in your apartment, to have only candles or completely pitch black, and notice what it's like to be in the frequency of darkness? maybe I'll give another talk on that another day about being in darkness. One of the most profound experiences of my life was when I spent 7 days in complete pitch black darkness and entered into a natural state of DMT. Totally different topic. Well, not really, because it's all connected, but I'm not going to go into that right now because I will be here for another hour. But let me know if you want me to speak about the darkness experience. And 1 week is not that long, you know. I want to do like 2 or 3 weeks next time. And I know people would do much longer than that, but that was a profound experience for me. So let me know in the chat. Oh, beautiful. Thank you, guys. Getting a lot of yeses. Nice. Oh, sweet. I haven't even scrolled down in the chat in the Facebook group. Okay, great. So as we're wrapping up, maybe we'll find out. Okay, Joachim says the receiving of downloads. Beautiful. Allison says, I'm reading from both chat streams, by the way, both in the Ecstatic Awakening Facebook group and on the timeline thing. Allison says that creating my passion will not be an effort. It will just download like it has been. Nice. And to get into the ocean. Beautiful. Debbie says, I'm going to tune into my flow state, finding beautiful, peaceful nature. I love that. Nice. Beautiful. Sandra says, it was amazing. Karine says, loved it. Veronica, yes. Isabel, yes, yes, yes. Debbie, it truly resonates. Beautiful practice. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what Marie, but yeah, big yes, my dear. Jennifer says, absolute yes, yes, yes. Nice. World's literally fall to me. Okay, a lot of yeses. Jessica, yes. Julia, yes. Luna, you know it. Okay, sweet. A lot of resonance here. So the receiving our downloads, exactly. That is a space. And Joachim, I know that you love ecstatic dance, and so you probably know that experience of being on the dance floor and having these dance gasms. I'm running low on battery on my phone, so we'll see. We can't go on for that much longer, but there was one question from Tina. Could you please tell about Mandak Chia's breathing with Dantian to fill up with energy? I would love to do that another day. I feel like this is a complete theme in and of itself. This theme of ecstatic awakening, conscious creation, and flow state, and getting into that. I spoke about this the other day. I gave a webinar called the 5 Yogini Approved Keys to 10xing Your Orgasm, which seems like a super different topic, but it's actually very connected to this. It's like being filled up with life is that key. And I speak about, in that webinar, I spoke about refining sexual energy, which is breathing and circulating energy between the 3 dantians, between the primal raw life force of Jing Qi, the vibrant, radiant life force of life energy and vitality of Qi, and the spacious awareness of consciousness of Shen, and how we can circulate and flow those together, which is something that is probably the most amazing practice you can ever learn in terms of how to harness the energy of lovemaking and ecstatic experiences like ecstatic dance in a way that is actually really balancing. Because so many people experience having sex or going to ecstatic dance or going to retreat and being so blown open and having such an ecstatic experience, but then crashing or feeling super off balance. You know, maybe have you had the experience? I think I'm not the only one. I got a lot of resonance from the women as well. Have you had the experience where you've had a massive amount of sex and then you just feel amazing, but you feel kind of really off balance, and it's like you can't even function afterwards in terms of like focusing on creating, and so that refining sexual energy practice is something that is incredible. It's quite detailed. It's too in depth to teach right now, and I don't feel like going into it. But this is something that we teach in the Ecstatic Awakening Retreat as well as in the Ultimate Goddess Retreat. Both of these retreats are filling up, and they are the only offerings, the only big offerings that we have in Europe for 2018. 2019, don't know yet, but the only ones in Europe for 2018. And so if you are a man, then check out the Ecstatic Awakening Retreat, and if you're a woman, then you can check out both the Ecstatic Awakening Retreat as well as the Ultimate Goddess Retreat. And if anybody has links to them, then feel free to put it into the chat. But you probably, if you're hanging out with me, you probably know about these already. Both are gaining momentum, and I've never had this many applications for a women's retreat in my entire life in the first 1 week alone. As for the Ultimate Goddess Retreat, and so it's coming through really amazing. The potency of the women who are coming together, really amazing. So what are the offerings right now? The 22 Minutes of Bliss, the 5 Keys webinar. You can still watch that one if you want to know about the 5 Yogini approved secret keys to 10xing your orgasm. Super snazzy title. Don't be fooled. It's like a really deep teaching. It's a really deep sharing. And the Ecstatic Awakening Retreat and the Ultimate Goddess Retreat. Ultimate Goddess happening 28th of June until the 4th of July at the Hidden Paradise in Spain. And Ecstatic Awakening happening in the same venue, same place, up in the mountains, southern Spain, the 18th through the 25th of July. We're actually starting the Ecstatic Awakening Retreat exactly on the day, 20 years. The 18th of July 2018 is exactly 20 years after my sister was killed. Which is, if you know me deeply, more deeply than you know, that this is the number one thing that has shaped my life trajectory, that the impact of that experience of her being raped and killed and everything that happened afterwards, which is related to the 5 years of suicide attempts and everything. Another layer of story that I don't feel like going into right now, but that is just, there's something to this where I feel, again, is anchoring in this gratitude and the potency of being alive, and the gratitude for being alive on this planet at this point where telepathy is beginning to be accessed more and more. Claire Costello, one of the women who is going to be co-facilitating the the Ultimate Goddess Retreat, she is incredibly tapped in when it comes to telepathy and clairvoyancy. But for all of us being alive at this time when we have technology and we can reach each other in this way, I'm here right now in Canggu Beach in Bali and sharing this with you, and you are sitting or standing or dancing or shaking or whatever you're doing wherever you are in the world. I was going to say maybe you're making love, but I don't think you would be watching this at the same time. That would be kind of weird, or not, I don't know. Anyway, scrap that, but that we can connect across the... Thank you for the likes, guys. Sometimes I say such random, inappropriate things, but at the same time, I'm like, well, fuck it, whatever. It's like, if you don't resonate, then hang up, don't watch it. Because this is going to keep on coming through, like inappropriate jokes and comments in the perfect places. It's a specialty, but it's such a potent time to be alive that we can do this. We can fly across the oceans, that we can, and hopefully 0 point energy, Tesla technology, that clean energy will be coming soon. Hopefully, boost that in any way that you can. But that we're able to travel across the world. Gabriel and I will be flying to Amsterdam the 14th of June, landing on the 15th of June. And I'll be giving a 3-day retreat for the Abundant Passionpreneur program, and then after that going to Sweden briefly, and then going to Spain for the Ultimate Goddess Retreat, followed by the Ecstatic Awakening Retreat. And so it's just incredible that we can have these experiences of traveling across the world so easily as we do, which if you told somebody 100 years ago or 200 years ago, they would be like, that is impossible. So I don't know how far off the whole space travel, interstellar galactic thing is, but in our lifetime for sure, I'm sure pretty soon, if you trust some sources that talk disclosure, etc. Another topic. So anyway, so this has been day 1 of the 22 Minutes of Bliss 10-day experience. Thank you for hanging out. This is like, you can bring your popcorn and your chai for the next one. This is like way longer than I had expected, but that's how the flow goes when we're in it. And so for those of you who are in the Ecstatic Awakening Conscious Creators group, we're continuing. Do the 22 Minutes of Bliss practice every morning for the next 10 days and see what happens, and share your experiences. Anytime you have either a question or a an experience or something that you want to share, then just post it in the group. And I will also be adding new music mixes, and let me know if you like the music mixes, if there's any, if you have favorite songs to dance to meditate to shake to do breath work to, then send them to me and I can mix them into future. I'm right now, I'm like having a lot of fun looking for the music and finding that and mixing it in and creating those amazing mixes for that 22 minutes of bliss guided practice. And I recorded a voice for it, by the way, in the studio of Rob Weber. Rob, if you're watching this at any point in the future, thank you so much. Thank you. I was recording this in Rob's beautiful studio here in Bali and Ubud, and overlooking the jungle. So I was seeing the jungle leading down towards the river as I was recording this. And that's just a kind of fun fact, background story, that I was recording that in, overlooking the jungle in Bali, and that voice is mixed together with music. So if you're not yet registered for the 22 Minutes of Bliss, you can still join. We started today. It's going for another 9 days. On the 12th of June, we're going to have our final Quantum Acceleration Live Celebration Masterclass, which is going to feature myself as well as multiple facilitators from the Ecstatic Awakening Retreat, and maybe also some other guest teachers. And I want to give you a little bit of an overview of what's coming in the coming week or the coming 9 days. Just seeing if I still have any battery on my phone. I can't actually see that right now, but okay, cool. So if it ends on my phone, then it's continuing in the Facebook group. So in the coming week, we are going to have a conversation with Jonathan Fritzler, who's the founder of Sacred Strategy and the Mind Lab. He's one of the Ecstatic Awakening facilitators, and we'll be having a conversation about also, again, flow state and how to create success in anything that you want, and conscious life design, as well as what does it mean to be the creator of your own reality. And then we're talking about creator 2.0 or 3.0, not just, I watched The Secret and now I was like, ask, believe, receive, and that's it. But there's so much more to it and the nuances. I might also give a talk on becoming the DJ of your life, being vibrationally focused versus circumstantially focused. And Jason W. Diggs and Rael Castano will be coming on. They are the founders of Authentic Relating Training International, and they're also facilitating at the Ecstatic Awakening Retreat in Spain in July. And I listened to a podcast the other day with Jason together with Sydney Campos, who is another soul sister, that they created together about authentic relating, and I was receiving so many, again, downloads and inspiration about what I want to Jason and what I want to have a conversation about. So we're going to be talking about ninja relating skills and transforming your relationships, which is a different topic but super relevant. How can you transform your relationships? Because very often what you find is that you can be super spiritually evolved in your meditation practice, but then your partner says something, or the guy doesn't call, or the girl stops texting you, and then it's like you haven't done any spiritual practice at all. And so the authentic relating is the bridge between this. And authentic relating simply means when inner experience and outer expression are in alignment. That is authenticity. And there's so many more nuances to this, how you can create really deep, impactful, rich, sexy, authentic, profound, next level connections. So we'll be talking about that. I'll also be talking with Sydney Campos, who is the author of, I believe is the title, The Empath Experience, I think, which I haven't read yet, but I'm super stoked to do so when I can get my hands on a bookstore that has it. But we'll be talking about also that joy of living and being. Actually, I don't know exactly what we'll be talking about, so let me not say that yet, because I don't actually know. We'll be tuning in together about what we'll be sharing about. And let's see if there's anybody else that I know in this moment. There might be some more. Okay, 10% battery left. Sweet. Nice, so we're still going. Coming to the roundup of this. Oh, cool. A lot of beautiful shares. The ocean practice. Okay. Oh, beautiful comment here. Caroline is sharing, what came to me was, did I make one person feel better today? That question popped up while you were talking. Beautiful. Love that. Sweet. So did you make one person feel better today? Did you make 1,000 people feel better? That's the beauty of leveraging your genius that you can do through video and through different sharings. When you immortalize your creation, it can be shared and it can be enjoyed, and you can multiply yourself. It's like spiritual cloning or wisdom acceleration and multiplication. So that is an incredible, beautiful way of doing it as well. So that's a bit of an overview of the week. So basically, when you sign up for the 22 Minutes of Bliss, which I haven't free, you can just go. I think I put a link in the description for this video on my timeline. So you can just go there, you put in your name and email, and then you're sent the login details to the members area, where you can receive the practice, the playlist, the downloads, the instruction video that I filmed in Costa Rica. And so you can join that in, because my passion is this really comes from the sadness of so many people sleepwalking through life and coming to the end of their life, feeling like they didn't really fully live it or really didn't live it. And how can we change that? How can we give people access to their own genius? Again, we've been talking about flow states today a lot, and this is something that I believe that everybody has access to. So the 22 Minutes of Bliss, the main purpose for that is giving you access to that. And when you do this practice, you start receiving ideas, inspiration, downloads, things start opening up, things become clear. You've been trying to figure something out for months. Suddenly it's just there, it's just happening effortlessly. And you begin to ride this wave. It's like cosmic surfing, catching the wave and riding it. And it's like an amazing state of natural high. And this state of natural high is something that I feel is something that unites us so much. You know, earlier today, after I went into the ocean, I actually went into the swimming pool that was by the beach club where Gabriel and I were spending the day. And I swam a bit in the pool for a bit. And a lot of people having drinks in the pool. Like the sun is about to go down, the DJ is playing like the most epic tunes. Maybe we'll invite the guy who was playing today. It was at the beach club. He was like, we took his details. I might contact him for a future retreat collaboration. Who knows? Just planting that seed right now. It would be fun to watch this video back, a year from now, and being like, that happened. Anyway, seeing so many people having drinks in the pool, getting drunk, having an amazing time. And personally, I have nothing against alcohol or any substance when you're using it consciously and for the right reasons. But basically what I can see is that regardless of what that is, it feels like that experience that we're chasing when we are drinking wine or shooting tequila or we are taking MDMA or drinking ayahuasca or taking LSD, or we are doing some form of inducing some kind of, or ingesting some kind of substance to alter experience. What is the longing that drives that? I believe that that's the same that drives us when we go bungee jumping, when we go swimming in the ocean, when we sit in eye-gazing meditation with somebody, when we are in nature. That there are different methods of getting there, but it's the same one, longing for basically the truth of who we are, which is connection, which is opening, which is openness, which is awareness, which is source, which is consciousness, which is genius, which is flow state, which is the peace before the mind. All of that, something bigger, being connected, being at one with. I think that is what all of us are chasing and looking for and longing for when we are seeking these experiences. And then of course the irony of it is that we are already this, no matter what we do, because that space that we're looking for is always present to us, even if we're not present to it. In other words, the space within ourselves, with the layer to our being that is pure awareness, has always been pure awareness. But people can go through their entire life not recognizing that they are awareness. But that awareness is always present to you, even when you are not present to it. Is this making sense? Space of awareness that is you is always present to your personally asserted self, even when your personally asserted self might be unaware of yourself as awareness. And the full circle happens although there's probably not full circle, but there's that part of the spiral. The cool thing happens when you become aware of awareness itself as your foundation for being, resting as that and beginning to live more and more in this flow. And then how that plays out for you is going to be totally and completely unique. But that is the big game changer, or the big game demolition agent, if ever there was one. If anything, it eradicates the games and it just brings it into connection, into flow, and into already being here and at the same time creating more. Okay, and so with that, I feel like it's time to wrap up. Thank you, beautiful one, for sharing. Again, if you want to share, if you haven't shared yet, what has been your biggest insight from today? What inspired you the most? And what, if anything, is something that you in this moment feel inspired to do? Insight without action is about as useless as a Tesla car that doesn't have new wheels on it. So if you receive an insight, what are you then inspired to create? To receive and you create, to receive and you give. That is that connection of life pulsating through you. Okay, welcome to day 1. See you in day 2. Just feeling gratitude, appreciation. Okay, I'm gonna finish the live stream first on my phone and then in the group. Okay, so live streamers timeline. Bye. Ending live video. Boom, done. My phone is super overrated right now. Okay, and for you guys, thank you for saying yes to this journey, and thank you for being on this. Not emphasize enough just how curious I am what's going to happen for you. And you know, a few days back I added this function to this group where there are some questions that you answer when you click to join the group, which is what was the question? Do you identify as a conscious creator? And if so, what are you bringing to the world? And what calls and inspires you the most about the 22 minutes of bliss, or about being in this group? And are you already registered for the 22 minutes of bliss? And I've been reading the kind of comments that are coming in. It's kind of almost sad because as soon as I approve you to be in the group, that question is deleted. So some of them I've actually copied into document because it was just so beautiful. But a lot of you have been writing about just feeling a resonance, wanting to work with life energy, with sexual energy, with manifestation, with awareness. One guy was sharing, like, I just vibrated my entire body when I read this, when I saw the invitation. And so it's been really beautiful. And so thank you for saying yes to this journey. I'm gonna go and have dinner with Gabriel and then have an early night. God, yeah, I went to bed at like 10:30 a.m. this morning after being up. And last night we were at a concert with Minuk and Pachamantra and Ben Templestep and some other people that I don't know from before here in Chandu at La Laguna by the beach. And it was just like fire and dancing and so many friends. Hold on, let me just upload this one. Let's see, upload in HD. Share. Okay, cool. Great. It was such an incredible evening. Gabriel and I were dancing together and holding each other and okay, I was gonna share something more personal and intimate. I'm not check. No, this doesn't. No, that feels too private. Okay, so I'm not gonna share that one thing. It's really beautiful though, but maybe for another time. Just feeling the gratitude and for the people, and feeling some sadness for leaving Bali in just like a bit more than 10 days now. Also excited about what's coming. Really excited about coming to Amsterdam. Really excited about going to Amsterdam with Gabriel for the first time. If you're in Amsterdam, the 20th of June, I'll be having a birthday picnic in Westerpark, most likely, on 20th. So if we're friends, then I'll probably invite you, and if I didn't, then please send me a message and I can see if I can invite you. And if you're in Bali, then on Thursday, the 7th of June, which is my birthday, Thanks, Mom and Dad, for having me. The 7th of June, this coming Thursday, is my birthday, and if you're in Bali, then we'll be inviting you over to our beautiful jungle paradise home here for some celebration. And then the week after, we're flying to Amsterdam, and then going to Sweden for midsummer, and for my mom's and my sister's birthdays. And then right after that, Gabriel's going to the States, and I'm going to Spain for the Ultimate Goddess retreats. And then he is coming over to Spain for the Ecstatic Awakening retreats. And then we're going back to Amsterdam for some ecstatic afterglow events. And then followed, I'll be teaching at Freedom X Fest in August in Spain again. And then September onwards, we don't know exactly, but it looks like we might be in the States. And then, later in the winter, Bali again. And so with that, just profound gratitude. If there are any last shares in this moment or later, just sharing how are you feeling in this moment after this connected experience. And thank you. If you have any issues with logging in, then you should have received a second email in your inbox, maybe even a third, that has the correct login link for the practice to access it. And I'm excited for you to dive in and to experience for yourself, to discover more of your flow, your genius, your inspiration, and your connection with all of life. With that, bye. See you tomorrow.